Howdy y'all, Elizabeth Gore here. Welcome to The Big Idea from Yahoo Finance, sponsored by PayPal. As the co-founder of the small business funding platform, Hello Alice, it has always been my mission to help ensure entrepreneurs have the tools they need to succeed. So let's cowboy up. Today's big idea question is, should I buy or rent commercial real estate for my business? Our industry focus will be real estate. Joining me today to talk about this is Ryan Serhant. Ryan is founder and CEO of Serhant, a multidimensional real estate company. Not only is Ryan one of the world's most influential real estate brokers, but he's also an entrepreneur, best-selling author, content creator, and star of shows like $1 Million Listing New York and Netflix's Owning Manhattan. He also recently developed Simple, an AI-powered real estate app made to help brokers. There's no one better to help answer today's big idea question. Let's talk to Ryan. Well, Ryan, welcome to The Big Idea. Thanks for coming on.
I hope I have enough big ideas for you. I'm stressed out.
You've had a lot of big ideas already. So, listen, there's not going to be enough time in the world, but I'm excited that you're here because so many of our small business owners are making very hard decisions about their own personal real estate, but also, should I go into a commercial building? Brick and mortar is back for our CPG types.
Yep.
It's really important to have your voice. So how are we doing?
How's the real estate world doing?
Yeah.
The real
Easiest
estate
question ever.
Market is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. I'm pretty sure that the market is structured in such a way to reward scarcity and disincentivize mobility. And so, that's what a 30-year fixed loan product does. That's what a 10-1 ARM does. And the more scarcity there is, the more you push up the values for people who already got the opportunity to play the game, and the harder you make it for people who haven't even entered the field.
Right.
And so if you haven't entered the field yet, the market's awful. It's terrible. There's nothing to buy. The things that are there to buy are too expensive. You can't afford it. So why even bother? If you're in the game, you're on a seesaw between everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. My expenses are going up. My expenses are going up. I could sell it, but then where do I go?
Right.
I could sell it in 1031, but then everything's expensive if I try to do a like-kind exchange. So, we're in this moment of a time where everyone's excited publicly and scared privately.
So Ryan, for our small business owners who are deciding whether to buy their space on Main Street or keep renting, what's your advice?
My first piece of advice is to make sure you have squeezed every drip of the lemon out of your digital storefront first. Really important. You don't do them concurrently, right? You have a digital storefront first and foremost, because you can reach more customers even on Main Street in their hand before you're going to reach them before they go by. Okay. Then you have to think about marketing awareness, because if you want a storefront to hold inventory, you don't need to do that at a retail price. If you want a storefront to meet with customers, you also don't need to do that at a retail price. If you want a storefront for branding and advertising, right, you might want to do that at the retail level. But then you're also looking at your costs in terms of not just volumetric square footage in terms of how much room that I need either in a building, in a multi-level or ground floor retail or second floor retail. You're also looking at it as advertising costs and how much money are you actually going to save because you have banner space, right? That way. And then it's a math conversation. What's your payback period on the space? What's your path to profitability on this space? And just make sure, especially if this is the first time doing it, and I've been there before, you don't agree to anything long-term in a way that would completely destroy your life, right? So the first building that I ever took, where I leased it, I agreed to the option for a 10-year, because if everything works out, I don't want to be kicked out.
Right.
But it was a 3-year where I paid a little bit more for those 3. So my escalations were heavy in the first 3 years, but they amortized over 7. Okay, so that the landlord would get what they needed, and they felt good because they thought they were taking advantage of me the first 3, but really I was taking advantage of them for the back 7. And most landlords want to be able to cover their bills at the beginning and be able to say that they had a high net lease, right? So they can go out that way with no personal guarantees, usually, and the ability to sublet if shit hits the fan and you need to bring in somebody to divide the space, split the space, use the space, in whatever way you can survive. And if you do all of that and all of those boxes are fully checked and you still want to do it, then go for it. Life is short. An asteroid could hit tomorrow and all the dinosaurs will die and us. So what are we talking about?
So I'm a business owner. I've been working out of my house. I'm growing. Yep. I need more space. Or I'm just dreaming to own my shop on Main Street.
Sure.
Do you think they should be cautious right now and wait a little longer?
I don't believe in waiting on anything.
Okay.
I don't think it makes any difference. I think time is determined by the deal. Like, to wait to do what? When the market turns for you to get a better price, you're not going to like the reason the market turns, right? And when things are bad, they've never been worse. And where things are great, they've never been better. So it is impossible to time the marketplace that way. I would just focus on the type of deal. If you have a business plan with very, very clear projections and you understand who your target customer is, and to hit all of your key metrics through 2026, you need a physical store that has nothing to do with your own personal ego or vanity, then you should go and get a deal. You should make sure there's no recourse. You should make sure you don't personally guarantee the lease. You should make sure you're structured appropriately legally, and go for it, because you're going to get probably a better deal today on retail than you might in 6 months. Or it could be the total opposite.
Right.
Like, nobody knows.
Your company, your real estate mogul, you have all these shows. You have a new show. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you decide how you're going to spend your time every day? I think our small business owners are so time poor, and it's their greatest asset. How do you make that decision?
So you have 1,440 minutes a day.
There you go.
On average, everyone's life is different. Some people have 10 kids and they're single parents and they have no time.
Lord Jesus, I would die.
Some people have a lot of time, probably too much time. On average, let's say you have about 1,000 minutes a day to be productive. You wake up every day with a fresh $1,000 in your time bank and you structure it in 3 blocks. I find business, I keep business, and I do business. Finder, keeper, doer. CEO, CFO, COO, let's say. And every entrepreneur and every business owner, I don't know another way to operate. Now, the more successful you get, the more you can put people in those seats, and you focus usually more and more of your time on that finder time. But especially in the early days, you have to make sure that you're doing all 3 and you're wearing all 3 hats at the same time. Most people do 1. And then the other 2 are chores, or they're annoying. And then they wonder why the business didn't work. Or they don't hire for unique qualifications in what they don't do well. I spend a lot of my time hiring and firing when needed, because there's a major CEO who told me once that if you're in that head seat, you can hire people to do everything but hire people.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, and it's the worst.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
That's how I think about time and structure, and then I brand and expand all day long so that everybody else has stuff to do.
Well, I think it's really interesting for you because your name is, quote, on the building, right? That's such a pun with you and your world.
No.
But when you have all these folks that are representing you as a company, and you talk about hiring and firing, but how much time do you put into your people?
I try to make sure that I hire people, like I said, who are uniquely qualified to do what they do. I spend a lot of time on culture. I spend a little time on training to make sure that they know what to do and how to do it. We have pretty intense onboarding plans, but I have people that work with me who are much better at the training, at setting goals, at setting KPIs, and at really tracking people's targets, so that when I'm with them, I want to be very, very careful that they don't look at me as their leader and their manager. I think it's really, really important, at least I found anyway, to have a dividing line between the two. The buck can always stop with me, but I want people to be in the room with me and think big, throw out playbooks. Let's bring vision into the room. If they're also thinking about that they need to check with me based on their PTO and, Ryan's going to feel about this, and I got to bring this expense budget to him, then every call, conversation, Zoom, or meeting, in the back of their mind, all they're going to be thinking about is what affects them personally first, no matter what someone says to you. And all of the big vision talk, the things that are actually going to move enterprise value for the business, are going to come after all the little shit. and keeping the thing moving forward. That way, every meeting with me is, for the most part, 9.8 times out of 10, can be exciting until, there's big asks, and then I have to make those decisions.
After the break, more with Ryan Serhant. Plus, a reminder to check out Yahoo Finance's Warrior Money for clear money guidance for our country's veterans. Thanks again to PayPal for sponsoring this episode of The Big Idea on Yahoo Finance. I love their Buy Now, Pay Later feature. It is the perfect tool to boost sales this holiday season and give your customers more flexibility to pay. I am thrilled to announce that Hello Alice is partnering with PayPal on the Main Street Rising Awards. Nominate your business or one that you love today to gain access to exclusive in-person events, nationwide recognition, and for a lucky few, grant funding. Head over to mainstreetrisingtour.com to turn in your nominations today. Howdy, y'all. I'm Elizabeth Gore. Welcome back to The Big Idea. We're here with Ryan talking real estate. Well, you seem obsessed with efficiency in your new software that's out. Yeah. That's all I can think about is the amount of efficiency it's bringing to this industry. Tell me about it.
I created 3 technologies since starting the business in 2020. The first 2 were wild failures and burned so much money. And the third one worked by accident. From the failures that we learned from the first 2 operations. So the third one is called Simple. It's super simple.
Is it simple?
It removes administrative work for salespeople. That's it. And it was just sitting there and saying, instead of trying to give people what we think they need, why don't we just give people what they don't even know they want? And what they don't even know they want, because they didn't know they could have it, is for all their admin work to disappear. And when you think about what salespeople do, 80% of their day is spent managing administrative tasks, whether it's managing a CRM, which is only as good as the person who uses it.
Right.
Managing email, marketing assets. In our world, listing presentations, buyer tours, CMAs, broker price opinions, right? Like just communication as a whole. Follow-up. It's like a lot of time all day long to keep things moving. What if all of that went away? And instead of having to, I would say, guide your technology, the technology can guide you. And then you then flip it from 80-20 to now 20-80. So the salespeople that work with us and work on Simple have now flipped their days, which is really awkward and uncomfortable, to spending roughly 20% of their day thinking about administrative tasks and managing client control and quality control, and 80% of their day doing what only a human being can do. So we think about a lot of times the difference and the collaboration between, carbon and silicon,
right?
And it's really kind of changed the game for us. And then yesterday we announced a first of its kind partnership with T-Mobile. So everyone on Simple will have access to something new called Super Mobile, which means you don't have to wait in line when pinging cell towers. So, because our firm we're mobile first, we don't really have brick and mortar.
Yeah. That's
so
ironic.
It's good. So it's changed. And and revenue for each user has grown on average 140% year over year. So
let's go.
Yeah, why not?
Well done. So we do talk about the dirty unicorns on this show, the failures.
Yeah.
And how did those first 2 failures educate you on this success?
The first one was a metaverse, because I followed a trend like everybody. And what I was trying to do was solve a problem that didn't exist in retrospect. Mm-hmm. The problem I thought existed was, how do you build virtual culture?
Okay.
Right? That's sticky and revenue generating. Because you can build virtual culture with an online community. You can have a Substack, you can have a Reddit thread, you can have a Tumblr, a Pinterest, an Instagram channel that people love. But all you're really doing is building audience.
Right.
So how do you take an audience to a community, right? Which is hard. And so for us in real estate, it's an incredibly visual and physical medium. You can, if you invest in REITs, I guess you don't have to ever go touch a building.
Right.
But really what we do, especially at the luxury residential and commercial sectors, it's a lot of in-person. But then you're not really with the company all day long because everyone's on the road all day. So how do you do that? I mean, you can do events, et cetera. And so we created a Serhant universe, and you could ride a zebra to the rooms and do all this stuff. And I'm the only person who uses it.
Well, it's probably because there was a zebra involved. You should have picked a unicorn or something.
Yeah. But the problem was it was just another thing for people to do. It was like I was giving them another screen.
Got it.
At a time when everyone's just in their screens all day long. So I said, okay, another problem I think that we need to solve is through marketing. So we created an app called Spaces, which enabled a salesperson to create live, in sync, fully edited property tours in real time that would sync to all MLSs. So it's a hyper niche problem, but it's like a real expensive problem. Most salespeople are spending anywhere from, let's say, $600 to $6,000 to create a marketing package for an individual property. And so that solved that. And then I'm the only one who uses it because it was just another screen. And so what I learned was, how do I then remove screens? Screw it. How do I make us the first screenless sales force? How do I do that? And the people that built Universe and some of the people that are part of Spaces started using AI to create recipes to automate workflows. And slowly but surely that became simple.
Well done. I think based on that, for that isolated entrepreneur who it just keeps not working, I mean, in those moments, how did you treat those failures? Did you pull them in and say, I'm iterating till the next? Or did you go have a bourbon and cry a little? Like, what do you do in those moments as a human being?
It's like every failure is like a car crash, right? It's really slow and then all at once. It's like, I know we're both from Texas, originally. And when I moved to the Northeast and started learning how to drive, you learn about black ice, right? Ice you can't see on the asphalt. And once you feel the skid, you don't know what's going to happen. It's probably not going to be great. You could survive,
right?
Or this could all come down to a terrible crash. And that's kind of what a failure feels like. It's like you're still moving forward. Everything's okay, but you feel the back wheels start skidding out, and you try to correct, but they're still skidding. You try to correct again, you're still skidding. You have a whole family in the car, and then they start feeling it, but it doesn't happen right away because you feel it first because your hand's at the wheel, and then you have to figure out what to do. Do you turn in to the skid, or do you turn out? Sometimes you turn out because it feels like the right thing to do, and that's when you spin out and you die, right? The hardest decision to do is to turn away, and sometimes that means cutting costs, right? Cutting costs. Sometimes it means letting go of people and just say, hey, sometimes things just don't work.
We're going to call this the black ice of entrepreneurship. That's your chapter in this book.
Okay, good.
From the Dallas Plains.
Yeah.
No, I think it's important because everyone sees you on television. Yeah. Awesome. Is so successful, but there will be all these black ice moments, right?
Always.
But now you're in a new show. Tell me about it.
Owning Manhattan. We're season 2 just came out on Netflix. It's the greatest TV show in the history of the world.
Of all time ever.
All time ever. And that's not just me saying it. I think there's really no other TV show like it. It's my 5th reality show. So and for me to do it, because it takes a lot of time, and I'm an executive producer of this one. It's like, I want to make something no one's ever seen.
You're working on the business and in the business.
And around it and up and sort of all over it. How do you create something that someone's never seen before? And maybe it's just because I've now been on, visually on social media for the last 12 years. Like, you have to keep creating a new box.
Right.
Like, if you just post the same thing over and over again, eventually people are like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so you have to do something different. And so every season has to be different, and every season has to kind of shock and grab the audience and show them something they didn't know they wanted. And so season 2 does that. It's a lot. It is dramatic. So for people who like drama, it checks all the boxes. For people like business, it checks the boxes. It's a real estate show, but it's about a founder building a business in the heart of New York City with unbelievable pressure and high stakes.
Mm-hmm. That sounds pretty normal, right? I mean, that's what we were saying.
Multiple mental breakdowns.
There you go.
Exactly.
Before
Pure chaos.
Breakfast.
Before after breakfast. If you had the stomach for breakfast.
Hey, I want to ask you a question about home.
Okay.
So I love my home. I'm very protective of it in Northern California. And I've always admired real estate agents for having to extract from a human what feels like home to you.
Yeah.
And I think that that is the ultimate customer engagement, customer feedback. I mean, how do you train that? Do people have a knack for that? I mean, it's so personal. I've always been curious about your industry.
Every salesperson has to have empathy so that you can connect with someone about something that is incredibly personal. Because it's not the house. Sometimes it's the house. Most of the time, it is the story that has been created in and around the house. So it's the baby's first footsteps. It was, I built this house with my bare hands. It was, this is my first purchase, or my dad left me this house before he died. Like there's always that connection, and you've got to be there with that person and continuously connect them to the next story in their chapter, right? Use that analogy. Like most people want to have a very, very full life, mostly. And to do that, you have to have lots of chapters in your memoir. And it's okay to close one chapter and open up another one if it means making money, if it means getting a bigger house, even if it means downsizing, lowering your monthly payment. It's okay, right? The kids will create new steps in the new house. And then you focus on the end game consistently. That's what you have to do.
How many minutes are in a day?
1440.
Okay. Well, I wish you had more than 1440 because I think you would create beautiful hang.
Oh, are we holding hands now?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you for
Okay.
coming on The Big Idea.
Of course.
You're amazing.
At the end of each episode, I like to give a shout out to a small business who is doing amazing work. Today, I'd like to shout out one of Ryan's favorite, Craftsman's Barbershop, located in the Soho neighborhood of New York City. Craftsman Barbershop is a premier destination for professional haircuts and grooming in NYC. Check them out on Instagram at craftsman_barbershop. Thank you, Ryan, for coming on the show, and thank all of you for joining us. We've hoped you've learned a lot. This has been The Big Idea from Yahoo Finance. Please make sure to scan the QR code below to follow Yahoo Finance podcasts, or check us out at The Big Idea wherever you get your podcasts. You can also come say howdy to me at any of my social channels at Elizabeth Gore USA. I'm Elizabeth Gore, and as my grandma always said, hold your head up high and give them hell. See you next time.
This content was not intended to be financial advice and should not be used as a substitute for professional financial services.